dude. Check the news. It doesn't matter what channel.
June, the month where corporations pretend like they care about us, and when conservatives cope and seethe over cardboard rainbows.
That there is no insert. There's nothing on it. So.
It's disgusting. That's devil worship. That's devil worship. That's devil worship.
Man, what a sad way to spend your life. But we're not talking about that today because I don't want to rain on your parade.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Hey there all you gals, gents, and peeps. Have you ever wanted to go to a Pride Fest? Maybe you just want to know what one's like, the kind of people that attend, the events that they have, or heck, maybe you didn't even know they were a thing. Well, this is Axolotl Aristotle, and today we're gonna find out. Fun fact, this video features the 2023 Pride Fest in Chicago. I was planning on making a video about it last June, but we all know what my upload schedule was like. But I mean, I still got it out this June, so it's basically on time. Alright, where to begin? Well, the Chicago Pride Fest is one of the largest in the nation. In 2023, there were around 60,000 attendees, and this year, 2024, there will be an estimated 100,000 people attending. However, the area itself is pretty small, only amounting to a couple city blocks, which led to some problems, but more on that later. We parked at around 10:30 a.m., but because Chicago parking and driving is a nightmare, we had to walk a couple miles. On the plus side, we got to see all the decorations the neighborhood had set up, so that was neat. When we arrived, the line to enter wasn't bad at all, only about a 2-minute wait. In fact, we were pleasantly surprised to learn that entry is free, though the website does say $15 donations are encouraged, so me and my friends obviously paid. Though I do have to say that when we left at about 3 or so, the line to enter was almost 2 blocks long, so if you do try to go, try and get there early. Once inside, we were immediately met with a mixture of vendor booths run by members of the queer community and booths run by companies looking to promote their brand. Rainbow capitalism, baby! Although they did give me this Kellogg's bracelet in bright colors, so I guess they do care about the queer community. Oh. Thankfully, the queer vendors had goods and services with, an actual soul. For example, one of the first people I got to chat with makes candles.
So, can you tell me a little bit about what you do? I know you're an artist. You do make wax sculpts out of for candles, right?
I do, yeah. So my company is called Drew Moon Arts. We've been in business for about two and a half years now. The whole business started as a pandemic hobby. My daughter wanted to make candles for family.
Oh, that's nice.
I just kept doing it, and we are a big part of the kink community in our community up in Minneapolis. And some friends asked to make wax play candles.
Oh.
So we make wax play candles as well as body representative candles.
Oh, very nice. Do you make any? I mean, I saw the one cat, Sphinx cat over there. Do you make any other safe for work candles, or is it mainly just not safe for work candles?
So I make the cats, I make some owls.
Oh.
But that's mainly it for the...
Is it because of Owl House?
It's because I just happen to have the mold.
Oh, fair. Out of curiosity, what goes into making one of these candles? Like, what do you have to do?
Yeah, so I have a set of molds. I make all these candles in my basement. So I have a set of molds, and I melt about 4 pounds of pure beeswax at a time.
Oh, jeez.
And then I add the color, and I make sure it's mixed well, and then I pour it into each mold. But you have to wick and band each mold first.
Okay.
And then it takes about 12 hours for each candle to set.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Where do you get your beeswax? Is there like a local bee farm or something nearby?
Yeah, so I get my beeswax from a local farmer. So I'm up in Minneapolis. The guy that I get it from is in Baldwin, Wisconsin. We met at the farmer's market.
Oh.
Yep. So I buy 100 pounds at a time. And that's been really beneficial. It's been really nice.
Good, awesome. If someone wants to get one of these candles, are they able to order it on your website, or is it they just have to be lucky enough to be at one of these like Pride Fests?
So we do have a website. It's drewmoonarts.com. So they can order off there. We ship around the world, and we do ship our beeswax candles as well as our play candles.
Yeah, thank you so much. I hope you guys sell a lot of candles.
Thank you so much.
Another vendor was actually a queer-run board game company.
So when I came here, I didn't expect to see, like board games. You guys are like a board game company?
We're a game company. We do. We have a board game we're coming out with. We're really new. This is our first game. It's a card game.
I can see that it's definitely not your average board game meant for children.
Yeah, it's definitely a little not safe for work, but I think we wanted to do something that was really interesting, unique, and kind of like a party game that we didn't see around. So just wanted to kind of hit people who are just out having a good time, maybe drinking a little bit, maybe not, but just wanted to have a little irreverent humor. So.
Oh, for sure. Fair. So I guess to describe your game in the most safe for work way possible, you know how YouTube is. The whole point is to grow your beanstalk, right?
Yes, indeed. I see where you're going there. You want to have the biggest, largest member while cutting your opponents down.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. We've got growth cards that make it bigger, shrinkage cards that make it smaller, and then some like unique cards that have a special effect and you can play them anytime. So just really the game changes every time you play it. As you get better at it, there's strategies. So we wanted a game that anybody could pick up at a party and play it. And then, once you get better at it, it keeps being fun.
Oh, okay. So it's not one of those like one and done things.
No, like once you see them all, you know how to play it. Nope. This has a strategy to it that you can get as you and your friends and family get better at it. Yeah, we've got DragonHawkGames.com and EnvyCardGame.com to if you specifically want to play this one. So.
The not safe for work one.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, I hope you guys have a good rest of your Pride Fest. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me.
Absolutely.
We appreciate you coming
Thanks.
by.
Have a good time.
You know, it's weird. Anytime I go to a convention or festival, I'm always taken aback by the amount of variety they offer. Okay, real quick, I would like to take a brief moment to bring up something important. Unlike my last pseudo-documentary at a furry convention, I had a lot less interviews this time around. Many of the vendors I asked to chat with politely declined, which is 100% understandable. In today's reactionary climate, you have no idea about potential backlash you'll receive being featured in an online video. There are news stories of everyday bigotry every day. Hell, scrolling through comments on anything queer-related is filled with homo and transphobia. Plus, the people I asked had no way of knowing whether I was a good faith actor or not. After all, Matt Walsh tricked trans people into being interviewed for his transphobic documentary. But thankfully, as you've seen, I still found a few wonderful people to talk to.
Do you think that Pride this year, like Pride events, people are gonna either show up more or show up less, like in fear due to all the recent legislation and hate campaigns going on?
I'm really hoping people show up more. I know it's scary. I know it's hard, but I'm really hoping people aren't so scared that they stay home.
There. What do you have? Do you have any advice for people that are worried about that?
Come out in groups, come with people that you love, and just stay safe,
But I think now's as good a time as any to describe what Pride means to me. My view is steeped in the history of Pride itself. For those of you who don't know, American Pride traces its root all the way back to Stonewall in 1969. At that point in time, the queer community was targeted and harassed by all of society, and on one fateful police raid, decided enough was enough and threw a days-long riot that would become a watershed moment for queer rights. Not exactly the type of Pride Fest we have today, and that's exactly my point. I'm so glad the LGBTQ community can celebrate its existence in the open now. Kind of. Which is why it's important to remember our revolutionary roots and fight against inequality wherever we see it and however it manifests.
Last question, what does Pride mean to you?
For me personally, it's it really depends on the stage someone is in, right? I remember the first time coming out, or early in my journey, Pride was an opportunity for me to explore and be someone else that I'm not in my everyday life. And seeing so many variants, people that were so comfortable with expressing themselves in different ways allowed me to tap into more of who I am. And now this might be, I think, my 3rd or 4th year. I'm so much more comfortable and helping other people early on their journey, and also connect with people way that has been out and about for maybe 10, 20 plus years, and seeing what they've established. It was so much different 10 years ago, 20 years ago, and now with social media, you being here promoting our message, we're able to reach so many more people and let people know that, hey, there is a room for you. You're able to express yourself. It's okay to be who you are. It's okay to figure it out. You don't need to know all the answers. So Pride for me is like one place where you can come and just be whoever you want to be, and you're fully accepted, non-judged. You're not judged for who you want to be and who you are.
Now that we know what Pride is, what kind of people can you expect to see at a Pride Fest? Well, there were people of all ages, races, genders, and every spectrum of the LGBTQ community. There were even some... No. But I am a furry now. Having tons of awesome and unique people is great, but it's also where the size problem I mentioned earlier comes into play. By about 1 p.m. or so, there were so many people that it felt as though we were all canned sardines. It was a slog to get anywhere, and you had to push through a massive sea of people. Luckily though, there were events all over, so there was always something to do in the area you were in. The majority of them are musical performances from artists like Jojo Suya, John Duff, and Safira Cristal. I assume most, if not all of them, are part of the LGBTQ community. Maybe? I don't actually know any of them. Listen, I was the kid that was into MCR, Breaking Benjamin, and Linkin Park who, now as an adult, transitioned to stuff like Motionless in White and Ice Nine Kills. But music isn't the only event Pride Fest goers can look forward to. There are numerous drag shows on both days. I didn't get to attend one while I was there, but I've heard they're usually a hoot. Hell, they even have their own pet parade. And although it was tempting to bring Daisy and Haji to the parade and the fest in general, Haji is way too old, 14 if anyone's wondering, and Daisy, being the chaotic potato she is, would absolutely be overstimulated with that many people and dogs around. Also, much like the furry convention I made a documentary on almost 2 years ago, the Pride Fest also had free HIV testing as well as condoms and lube. This channel stands free healthcare, so that's a big thumbs up from me. One organization at a vendor booth stuck out to me actually. Called the Bisexual Queer Alliance, the organization was made to represent bi people in the LGBTQ community. One may ask why such an organization exists given the whole B in LGBTQ, which that's fair, but bi erasure is a real thing, both within the community and from outside of it. So, the Bisexual Queer Alliance existing and solidifying bi peeps in the community is really wholesome, and I was glad to have the chance to talk with them.
So, what exactly is your organization?
So we're Bisexual Queer Alliance Chicago, and we do a lot of social programming. So some of the popular events we have is a queer book club, discussion groups, movie nights, and our aim is to educate, empower, and connect bi and queer folks within the community. We've been around for this is our 13th year, and we've continuously grown and innovated. We are based out of Chicago, and before COVID, a lot of our events were in person, and due to COVID, we've transitioned online, and our reach has expanded all across statewide, nationwide, and now global. So we have people coming from Scotland, Canada, Denmark, and so on. You can learn more about us on our website, Meetup, Facebook.
Is it for Everyone in the community, or is it just for like 18 plus people? Is it for like young adult queer people?
Yeah, great question. So our organization, the reason it started was we have two co-founders, Mikey Aboza and Ed Negron. And 13 years ago at Center of Halstead, Mikey asked if there was any resources for bisexual people. And the folks at Center of Halstead said, oh, there's no need for bisexual because there isn't any bi folks in the community. And Mike was a strong advocate, and that pissed him off. So he went out and started this nonprofit because he knows that there is a need. And in the 13 years, we've just been able to impact so many people. And one of the best feelings I personally get being here at Pride Fest is bi queer folks come here and they see, oh my God, I didn't realize that we had a space for us. And being able to give them resources, education, and giving them a safe space to get their questions answered, to make them feel safe that they do belong. And there are other people like themselves out here. And to answer your question, yes, we are adults 18 plus, but we're open to teenagers and kids.
Oh, there was also a section made specifically for LGBTQ youth, and I think it's really neat that they have a space to exist and meet other people like them. While I was tempted to get footage and talk to some people there, I decided against it because 1, there's no way to know if they are or aren't still in the closet, and being put in a Pride Fest video might out them. And 2, as I pointed out earlier, there's a lot of hatred about queer people from the right wing currently, and I wouldn't want to put any of them at risk of that either. I also want to give a shout out to the Be the Match organization, now known as the National Marrow Donor Program. The NMDP is a group whose mission it is to match blood stem cells and bone marrow donors with people in need. It may seem odd that I'd be showcasing a group like this in a Pride Fest video, but I promise it's not a sponsorship thing. For those of you who don't know, for years gay men were banned from giving blood. The fear of AIDS, you see. But recently, the FDA finally lifted the remaining restrictions, which is why donation groups can now call upon the LGBTQ community for their help. But I'll let Emily explain that.
Hi, so could you tell me what your organization is?
Yes, so Be the Match, we're a national nonprofit organization. We host a registry of people who are willing to be bone marrow or blood stem cell donors. Most people who need a transplant of bone marrow or blood stem cells don't have a match in their family, so that's why our registry is important.
For sure. Just for those who don't know, what's the difference between like a blood donation and then a blood stem donation?
So a blood donation, you're donating your whole blood, and it's just kind of going out into the community. You can save 7 lives with a single blood donation. Blood stem cell donation, you have to match one person specifically, and you're matched based on tissue type. So it's a pretty specific match, and the way I like to think of it, if you're receiving a transplant, it's kind of like doing an oil change on a human being. So the person who's receiving it, they have some sort of bloodborne illness like leukemia, lymphoma, sickle cell disease. So their bone marrow gets eradicated from their body, and then their body's ready to accept their donor's bone marrow, and then their body starts producing their donor's marrow.
Oh, so it's like a one-time thing?
It's a one-time thing, yeah. So it's a one-time thing. You can't get paid to do it. I know some people like to donate blood for that monetary aspect of it, but we do make donations zero cost to you.
Awesome. So what is the process? You sign up, and then you said it has to be like a one-to-one match, so I'm assuming that even if you sign up, it's not common that you'll be called on?
Correct. So you join the registry, you fill out a form on your phone, we make sure that you're medically eligible, and then we do a cheek swab, and that cheek swab's collecting your cheek cells, your tissue cells, and then we figure out your HLA type, your human leukocyte antigen type, and that's what our matching is based off of. So we're looking at either 8 factors or 10 factors, and then if you get that call that you're a match, that's when you go through a couple tests to make sure that you're healthy enough to donate, and then if you are asked to donate, 90% of the time donating is donating your peripheral blood stem cells. So that process looks just like donating plasma. If you've ever done a plasma donation or a red cell donation, you're hooked up to an apheresis machine. machine. So your blood goes out one arm through the machine. We separate out just your blood stem cells, put everything else back in a continuous loop. And then 10% of the time it's a marrow donation. So you're put under general anesthesia, and they go into your hip and they pull your marrow from there. Usually if you're asked to donate marrow, it's because you've matched with an infant or an extremely young patient or someone with an extremely rare condition.
So I'm assuming that when it comes to the stem cell donation, it's sort of just a day trip. You go for like a couple hours to do the procedure and you'll be all good within a few hours after?
Definitely, yeah. So I'm a donor myself. That's the way that I donated.
That's very nice.
Yeah. So I can speak from experience. I live here in Chicago. I was asked to donate in San Antonio, Texas. So Be The Match, and this was before I worked for Be The Match. So Be The Match paid for everything for me and for someone to go with me as support for me to San Antonio. So we flew in a day before, and then I donated, and it just took, mine was about 5 hours, which is average that you're hooked up to the machine, but they treat you like royalty. They give you snacks, all sorts of stuff. And then I flew back to Chicago the next day. So it was a nice little mini vacation.
And then how would it be for marrow donation?
So marrow donation, it's a similar process. It's usually a one-day kind of thing, the actual donation itself.
Is it easier to recover from?
Yes, yeah. So everyone that I've talked to that's donated that way, they've explained it for those of us that live in cold environments, like slipping and falling on ice and landing on your butt, and then you're just kind of generally sore for a few days. So that sort of feeling, yeah.
And I guess my last question is, so why are you guys at Pride Fest 2023?
Yeah, so we were here last year. That was our first year here. And just being a part of the community and getting people registered, educating is a huge part of what we're doing, because not everybody can donate blood, as we all know, but everyone who is generally healthy and between the ages of 18 and 40 can join our registry. So as long as you don't have a bloodborne illness or previous history of cancer, you can join our registry regardless of your orientation or gender identity or any of that. You can still join our registry and help save lives.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for the interview. I hope you guys get a lot of people to sign up today.
Of course, thank you.
And in case there are any homophobes still watching who have received a blood or bone marrow donation, guess what? The gay juice is flowing through your veins right now, motherfucker! Finally, I want to talk about the social aspect of Pride Fests, or at least the Chicago one. If you're looking to meet new people, I have some potential bad news for you. It felt hard to talk and engage with the folks at Chicago Pride. I've been to anime, furry, and gaming conventions, and most people are quite friendly and happy to engage with you. But at the Pride Festival, it felt like everyone had their own individual cliques. There was just an aura of isolation, a general vibe that people weren't open to talking. I don't know if it was just because of how big the Chicago Pride Fest is, the fear of possible haters and retaliation, or if my own introversion was just at 110% that day.
We've been attending the Twin Cities Pride for a number of years now, and I know attendance up there is about 500,000.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a big event.
God. As an introvert, I'm just freaking out internally. I can't imagine that many people.
I like being behind my booth when it's that much.
If you've been to Chicago Pride, or any others for that matter, let me know in the comments because I'd love to hear about your experiences. With all that being said, do I recommend going to a Pride Fest? Yeah. Whether you're part of the LGBTQ community or want to meet and engage with it, I think Pride Fests make for a fun and informative experience. Probably a smaller scale one though, where you have room to actually move and interact with others. Well, it was only a year late, but I finally got my first ever Pride video out. Thank you all so much for watching, and I want to give an especially big thank you to my patrons. First up are the star students, Foxboy5692, Pip the Badger, and Eric Torgler. Next are the hall monitors. Only one for now, so thank you, Java. Be sure to like, subscribe, and comment, and I'll see all you gals, gents, and peeps in the next vid.
Daisy. Daisy Ray. Daisy Ray.
Oh, row, row. Oh, row, row. So vicious. Oh, row, row. So vicious. Oh, she's gonna get you. She's gonna get you. Oh, row, row. Oh, row, row. Oh, row, row. Oh, you're so vicious. Come here. Come here, you. What? What? Are you? No, no, you stop talking back. She's just minding her own business. Daisy. Are you talking back? Are you talking back, huh? Huh? Are you talking back?